So, Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we are talking about functions, operations, and composition of the function. As we have for operation for the number which is multiplying, addition, subtraction, multiplying, and division, we have some operations for the function. The same, multiplying, dividing, addition, and subtraction. So when I say that f plus g of x, f plus g of x, in this form, it means f of x plus g of x. And f minus g of x, it means f of x minus g of x. So if we have two functions, suppose that we have two functions, f of x and g of x. If I need to add them, so I have to write f plus g of x. And that's mean, and that's mean f of x plus g of x. If you need to subtract, all what you have to do, just f minus g of x. But if you need to multiply, f times g of x. And if you need to divide, f over g of x. And the domain will be the common domain for the two functions. The common domain for the two functions. So how we can solve, how we can find the question. Suppose that we have a function f of x equals x power 2 plus 4x. And g of x equals the square root of x plus 2. And h of x equals 3x minus 5. We need to find each of the following. Then we need to find the domain. At the first, what is the domain for the first one? The domain for the first one. What is the domain for the first one? The domain for the function of x.
R.
Why R?
Because the domain is from negative infinity to infinity.
Why? How you know that's R? Why you know that's the domain? It's open upward. What is the relation that it's open up or down? So if that's open down, if that's open down.
The same thing, no, because both the left and the right side are going to the infinite.
Leave the graph. I need to know from not from the graph.
The domain is from 0 to -4.
The domain from 0 to -4?
Yes.
This one from 0 to -4 by this way. Open or closed?
Wait, let me see.
Assalamu alaikum.
Open.
Both are open?
Open, yeah.
How you know that?
Because at 0, the value becomes...
what is the meaning of the domain?
The values of x.
Just 1 minute, Omar. What is the meaning of domain?
X values on x-axis.
What is the meaning of x values?
I mean values on x-axis.
Okay, so only 0 and -4? Only two numbers or the numbers between 0 and -4?
Values between 0 and -4.
Right.
But 0 and -4 is also included but undefined.
How included and undefined? That's included, so to be defined. Not included, so not undefined.
Yeah.
That's what I know. So it's included and undefined at the same time? Even and odd? Positive and negative?
No. That's included.
Included. So it will be open or closed?
Closed.
Okay. So it will be closed.
Yes.
Type. Number one. The domain is wrong.
Okay.
Number 2. To write the interval, you have to start from the smallest to the greatest. Smallest number to the greatest number. So this way of writing the interval is wrong. This number 2. Okay. So that's about the domain. The domain is R, but why the domain is R? Why the domain is R?
Because it's a quadratic equation. So quadratic equations.
Well, quadratic is which type of functions?
It's even function.
Wallahi, this one is not even.
It is not odd. It is. Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Wallahi,
It's
even
not
is
odd.
not odd, is not even. How you know that the function is even, and how you know that the function is odd? We'll ask.
Yeah, because if you give it a negative value inside, it will be negative 4x.
How you know that? What is the meaning of even function and odd function?
Yeah. So if you give it a negative value of x,
That's
the
for
value,
even? That's
Yes.
even or odd?
even.
Okay, even. I need the mathematical expression. Leave the verbal expression.
F
What is
of
the
negative x
f of negative x?
is equal to
Hmm?
f of x.
That's the first one. The second. That's the first definition. The second one.
When you give in f of negative x
Huh?
Is equals to
is equal
f
to
of negative x equals negative f of x.
Yeah.
F of negative x.
Gives a negative f of x.
F of negative x equals negative f of x. Is that right?
Yes.
That's even. Both of them are even. Both of them are even. Is that right?
No, the second one is odd.
I'm asking about the even.
The
I'm
first one is
asking
even.
about the even. So I have to remove the second one or the first one or leave both of them.
No, remove the second one.
I will remove the second one.
Yeah.
I need the other definition. What is the meaning of the even function?
When there is a excess of symmetry on y-axis.
This for the graph for this function, there will be a axis of symmetry on y-axis
Let me check.
No.
without
No,
graphing.
there is
Without
not.
graphing. Why there is not?
Because it's on the. It goes to the left side. I mean, sorry. Because it's.
Because there is x. If you find
Yeah, because
x
it's-
power 2 plus or minus any number, it means this function now is, there is a transformation for the functions moving up and left, up and down. But if you find that if you add x, it means the function, there is another graph for the function. Because the solution will be 0 and negative 4. It means the graph now will intersect, the problem will intersect the x-axis at negative 4 and 0. So that's the graph will be look like. So there is no symmetric on the y-axis.
Yes.
Wallahi, without studying, you will find a problem. When you are going through the curriculum, you will find a problem. We are in lesson number 6. By this way, this function is polynomial function. How you know that's polynomial? What is the meaning of the polynomial function?
More than power of more than 2.
Power more than
Sorry,
2?
No, more than 3.
More than 3? If
No,
you don't know,
it's
please, if you don't know, say I don't know.
It's polynomial because.
Just 1 minute,
it's not-
just 1 minute, ya Omar. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Please, ya Shafi. If you don't know, say I don't know. But to give wrong information, no. By this way. If you don't know, don't, just, the math is 1 plus 1 equals 2. If you don't know, if you don't study, please. If you are not studying, please, don't give wrong information.
So how will I know if I'm wrong?
How you know that you are wrong? If you have to study. I didn't say, did I say it at any time that the polynomial is a power more than 2? Or more than 3? Give me one right information that you said from the beginning. And each time you just give a wrong information, each time. So please. For me, wallahi, no problem for explaining, but by this way, without studying, wallahi, you will find a little problem. What is the meaning of polynomial function, ya Omar?
Polynomial mean it consists of more than one part. Like x squared is one part and 4x is one part.
So f of x
Not really.
equals 4. Just 1 minute. F of x equals 4. Polynomial or not polynomial?
Not polynomial.
F of x equals x.
Not polynomial.
F of x equals x to the power 2.
Not polynomial also.
MashaAllah.
Is it correct, Mr.?
Habibi.
I think
Sultan.
if it's x,
Sultan.
Yes. Basically, it means that the exponent is more than 1. For example, 2x plus 5 as the exponent equals to 1.
That's the first point. The power must
Yeah,
be more
that's-
than, not more than 1.
Yes.
There is no negative power for x. Negative power. There is
Yes.
no negative power for
Exactly.
the variable. There is no negative power.
Mhm.
The
Oh,
second,
sorry, mister.
the
I mixed
second-
binomial with polynomial.
the one that you said, the one that you said is binomial. One term is monomial. Monomial is one of the type of the polynomial function. Monomial, it's monomial and binomial and trinomial. That is the number of terms for the function. Number of terms.
Yeah,
Again,
okay.
for this one, number of terms. Monomial, binomial, trinomial. That is the number of terms. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Continue, Sultan. The first one, the power is not negative.
It's either not negative or it's always positive. Which, for example, if it's as you said, binomial, trinomial,
No, leave the
monomial.
binomial, trinomial. This is the number of terms. This is the number of terms.
Yes, exactly.
The number of terms.
It basically depends on the exponents. For example, if the exponent is
Yes, that's the
at
first
least
one of the
one, for
exponent.
example,
Again, not at least one. What is the degree for
It's-
f of x equals 4?
it's 1 degree.
No,
So that what?
no, it's not 1 degree.
Hmm. Actually, I only know that part. Basically, like the exponent part.
F of x equals 4 if 0 degree. Why 0 degree? Because there is no x. There is
Because-
no x, it's mean x raised to the power 0. So it would be from the 0 degree. And this function defined by the constant function. Again, for this one, the polynomial function with an easy way, the easiest way for the polynomial function. The function, the x raised to non-negative power, non-negative power. The power of x is not negative. It could be 1, it could be 0, it could be any positive number. The power of x is not fraction, is not decimal. So you can say that x raised to the power 2 over 3 or x to the power 0.5. If x raised to a fractional power or decimal power, so this function is not polynomial. Number 3, x is not written at the denominator. You can't write over x. This function is not polynomial. X is not written under the square root, even if that's x to the power 2. X is not written under the square root.
We took this, right, sir?
Yes,
Last
wallahi.
Oh.
I explained it more than one time. In grade 10, in grade 11, in grade 12. So that's the polynomial function. The domain for the polynomial function, lesson number 1 in grade 12, lesson number 1. What is the domain for the polynomial function? The domain for the polynomial function will be equals R. What is the domain for this function?
More than negative 2. More than or equal negative 2.
The expression under the square root, which is x plus 2, is greater than or equals 0. So x is greater than or equals negative 2. So we can write it as negative 2 and positive infinity. This one is open and this one will be closed. What is the domain for this one?
So can you move your mouse? I can't see the side.
This one?
Okay.
What is the domain for h of
This
x?
is R.
R.
Because it's
Yes,
polynomial.
because it's a polynomial function, so the domain will be R. Again, for this one, you have to know the name of the function, how the graph will be look like, what is the domain of the function. Again, for this one is important. So for the first one, we need to find what is the meaning of f plus g of x. It's mean f of x
Plus gx.
plus g of
G
x.
of x.
What is the f of x? Which is
X squared plus 4x.
x squared plus 4x
4x
plus g of x, which equals the square root of x plus 2. So again, for this one, can you simplify it one more time? Or that will be the simplest form.
No, we can.
What is the symbol? How you can simplify it?
Maybe you can remove the root over there and just make it.
Without maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So you can
Without
remove the
maybe.
root.
How?
Remove
Where
the
I have
root
to remove?
and remove the
Where I
square.
have to remove the root?
Yeah. Okay. Let me.
Where I have to remove
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Let me, sir. Let me. Convert the root into 1/2 exponent,
Okay.
and then And that is simple.
So we can factor x squared plus 4x.
I will continue with you. Okay, it will be x times x plus 4, plus x plus 1 plus 2 to the power 1 over 2.
That's it. It's simplified.
There is one lesson, it's called adding algebraic expression. You know this lesson? Adding algebraic expression. Can you add x plus x power 2?
No,
No.
Why?
No.
because it doesn't have
Because
the power.
different power.
They are unlike terms. So the first one is x power 2. The second one is x power 1. The third one is x power 1 over 2. So
Yeah, it would be.
so
It's
that is the
It's
simplest
simplified.
form. You can simplify it more. So again, now we need to find the domain. What is the domain for the first function?
R.
R. So R is mean all of the number line. What is the domain for the second one?
All except from -2.
From -2 and going to the right. So from -2, so it will be closed here and we are going to the right. What is the common part between them?
More than
More
negative.
than or equal to -2.
So the domain will be
-2 to
x
positive
is
infinite.
greater than or equal -2, or you can write it as -2 to positive infinite. This one is closed and this one is open. Okay, we need to find the number 3. Number 3.
X squared plus 4x.
What is the meaning of f times h of x? It will be f
Fx times
X.
hx.
times h of x.
Yeah.
So the first one will be x
Squared.
power 2 plus 4x times 3x
Root x.
minus 5.
Oh,
So it will
great.
be no h of x. H, not
Yeah,
G.
hx.
So it will be
3x cubed.
3x power 3.
Then negative
5x
5x squared.
Yes,
Then 12x squared.
yes.
Then 20x. Negative 20x.
Negative 20x. Okay. Then
X.
Then
so
you
we got
si-
X.
12 minus 5, which is
so it will be
So if we got the X,
negative
-7. 3x cubed negative.
so it will be 3x squared plus positive 7x.
Yeah.
That's power 3 and that's
Yeah,
power 2
7x
minus
squared.
20x. So the domain now will be, what is the domain? Domain.
it's also R.
Domain. Because the domain
It's
for
R.
the first one is R. The domain for the second one is R. So the
It's also
common
R.
domain will be R.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's R.
Okay. So we need to find f minus h of x, which is f of x minus h of x. So it will be
x squared minus x squared plus 4x.
x squared plus 4x minus h of x, which is 3x minus 5. So it will be
X squared
x squared
minus 1x.
plus
No,
1x
yeah, plus 1x.
plus 1x.
And minus 5.
Sorry?
Positive 5.
Positive 5. And the domain will be?
R.
R.
Okay. The last one? It will be h of x divided by f of x. So it will be?
3x minus 5 over x squared plus 4x.
So 3x minus 5 over x squared plus 4x. What is the domain? That would be the simplest form because you
it's
can
R.
simplify. The domain?
It's not R.
It's R. Wait, it's not.
No, it's not.
R
How
or
is it
not R?
It's
R
not
or
R.
no? Why not R?
It cannot be
because,
0.
It's up.
And it
It's
cannot be
R
negative
except
4.
Because
it cannot be
because there
negative.
is because the
In the
result now
denominator.
again because the result now is a function with a denominator, the fractional function.
Yeah.
So the domain is
Oh, yeah.
all values except the values which make the denominator is equal to 0. So it will be R except the values which make the denominator is 0, which is 0 and
Negative 4
negative
and
4.
Negative 4.
Any problem for this one?
No.
Where did you get the 0 and negative 4 again?
Factor.
Just solve the second one. X bar 2
Denominator.
plus 4x equal to 0. So by factorization, x plus 4 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0 or x equals negative 4.
Okay.
Factoring the denominator.
Okay.
That's a fractional function. Any problem for this one?
No.
Anyone didn't understand how we solve this one? Because you will solve the second one. You will solve number 2. Any problem for this one?
Inshallah, no.
Okay. Solve this one. Solve number 5 and send it to me. Again, I will solve number 5. That's the same question. The domain for the first one is R. The domain for the second one, what is the type of this function? That's quadratic written under the square root, so how we can solve it? The expression under the square root, which is 9 minus x to the power 2 is greater than or equal to 0. We have two ways. The first way by graphing, the second by using the number line. I will explain the two ways now. If you have any quadratic function, how you can find which one will be the solution. At the first, that's how we can graph this function. This function is written in the form of x bar 2 negative x bar 2 plus 9. It's mean, what is the type of this
9.
function?
It's a quadratic equation with a
Quadratic.
maximum.
It's mean open downward and
Has
what
a
is the type of the
maximum.
what is the type of the transformation that we have for this one?
It's reflection,
Reflection, only reflection.
as well as a translation on the y-axis.
Translation y-axis 9 units up. So 9 units up, and it will open downward, and it will intersect the x-axis at 2 points. What is the value of the 2 points? What is the value of the 2 points?
Negative 3, positive 3.
Negative 3 and the positive 3. How we find it? By using factorization. It will be 3 minus x times 3 plus x is equal to 0. From the first one, we can say that x equal 3. From the second one, we'll say that x equal to negative 3. So that is the point of intersection, or that is the two values which make the equation equal to 0. So for the first one here, we need x is greater than, the expression is greater than or equal to 0. What is the meaning of greater than or equal to 0?
So it's above the line.
Yes, above the x-axis. Above the x-axis mean I need this part. This part starting from negative 3 and end at 3. This part only, if you choose any number from negative 3 to positive 3, you will find that the answer that you will find, it will be greater than 0. It's 0 or more. It's 0 or more. So the domain for this function will be, the values that you can use to make the answer is greater than 0 will be
Greater than negative 3 and less than 3.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
From
negative 3 to positive
To-
3. And
Yeah.
that will be included and that will be included. So
Yeah.
that is the domain, that is the only. If you go to back to the lesson number 1, I solve the same question with the same numbers. The same question with the same number. That's mean you are studying very well. So that's a good idea. So I think the adding, no problem for adding, just you add for the first one f plus g of x. It will be the first one, which is x minus 4, plus the second one will be 9 minus x to the power 2, and the domain will be the common domain. So the domain now would be negative 3 and 3. The second one, number 2, f minus g of x.
Sir, how do you find common domain?
A common domain, draw the number line. Draw the number line. The domain for the first one is R. The domain for the second one from -3 to +3. -3 to +3. That's closed and that's closed. Which part is common?
From -3 to +3.
Alhamdulillah. So x minus 4 minus 9 minus x to the power 2. So the common domain will be -3 and the +3. Again, for the third one, if you need to multiply, f times g of x will be equals x minus 4 times the square root of 9 minus x by using the distributive property. So you can solve it, and the domain also will be -3 and 3. That's closed. The only difference that you have f over g of x. That is the only difference, because you will write here x minus 4 at the numerator, and the denominator will be 9 minus x to the power 2. Because you have root under the square root, so the domain will be the expression under the square root is greater than only, is greater than, not greater than or equal. So the only difference that you have now, that the expression, that is the graph of the parabola, and this one will be open, this one will be open. So the domain now will be -3 and 3. So solve question number 6, please, and send it to me. Okay, the first one, the problem only will be
wait,
for
sir,
the division.
my answer.
Because I have another session now. We just we finished, by the way, with 7 minutes, because I have another session.
With 7
We
minutes
have
off?
7 minutes over. So يا شباب, you are not
Whose mic is that? Mr. Idris.
Mr. Idris.
Mr. Idris?
Yes.
Is that Mr.
Yes, خلاص
Idris?
يا شباب. يا شباب.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Idris.
I don't think so. That's
we need to finish. I have another session now. I have another session.
Sir, it's sent.
Okay. So listen, please, for this one. What is the domain for the first one?
R.
Is R. What is the domain for the second one? X is greater than or equal to 0. X is greater than or equal to 0.
Yes, yes.
So for the first one, for adding, I think there is no problem. For subtracting, there is no problem. And the domain for adding and subtracting will be x is greater than or equal to 0. But for multiplication, because I find some mistakes in multiplication, and f times g of x, it will be the first one, x power 2 minus 6x minus 8. You have to close the bracket times the square root of x. If you want to use the distributive property, no problem. If you want to leave it like that, no problem. Both of them will be right. No problem for that. Okay? And the domain still will be x is greater than or equal to 0. That is the same domain. Now for the division, only what you have to do, we need to find f over g of x. It will be x to the power 2 minus 6x minus 8 over the square root of x. That's all. And now we have a domain. The domain, we have a square root, and we have expression under the square root. Expression under the square root at the denominator. So the domain expression under the square root is greater than 0.
So 0
not greater than or equal. Yes, 0 and positive infinity. Both of them are open. The expression under the square root, there is roots at the denominator. Again, there is roots at denominator. The expression under the square root is greater than 0. The expression under the square root is greater than 0. If the square root is written at numerator, so it will be more than or equal. The square root expression here, so you have to write the expression is greater than or equal 0. You have under the square root expression, so it will be the expression is greater than only greater than. Because you have two conditions. The first one, the square root, any number under the square root must be positive, so you will ignore the negative number. And because you have expression at the denominator, so you ignore the values, which makes the expression is equal to 0. Any problem for this one?
No.
Okay. So inshallah we can finish the lesson inshallah tomorrow, okay? Because I have another session now. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.